Good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to see all of you here. Let me introduce myself. I'm Sultan Maagul. And as you can see on the screen, my topic is the complexion and techniques of TPR classroom activities. TPR is a total physical response. And before I explain my topic deeply, I will begin with by saying the government's decree about teaching foreign languages. And the president of Uzbekistan, Shavkat Miromonovich Mirziyoyev, issued a resolution, no, PD 5117 on 19th May in 2021, which highlights the importance of teaching foreign languages and attracting qualified teachers and enhancing people's interest in learning foreign languages. And okay, next, my paper, my paper is my qualification paper consists of introduction, two chapters, and a conclusion and bibliography. And chapter one, the theoretical foundation of using TPR method for young learners. And the aim of this work is that describing the TPR methods and the importance of the using TPR method in classroom. In classroom, you know that English teachers have been experiencing difficulty in teaching children because it's not easy task and it requires a lot of creativity and according to Harmer, the young learners differ from older ones, adolescents and adults, because they get easily bored and losing their interest in after 10 minutes, and so that the TPR method is very crucial to teach them in an effective way. And the object of this study is that teaching English to young learners through TPR method. And subject of the study the peculiarities of total physical response in primary school. Okay, and total physical response is a language teaching method built around the coordination of speech and action. And in the introduction part, I set such points as the relevance of the topic, subject, object, and main goals. And the first chapter attempts to describe the theoretical significance of TPR method in teaching and describe TPR methods activities developed by James Asher, because James Asher is a founder of this method. And the second chapter is dedicated to analyze the potential of the TPR activities to develop young learners foreign language skills and knowledge, and it consists of advantages and disadvantages of total physical response method, and the conclusion of the present paper describes the result of the study.
That's all. Thank you. Let's questions. Okay, you have chosen one of the important methods Yeah, TPR. Yeah. Okay. Tell us about advantages of teaching or using this method.
Oh, advantages of using TPR method. First of all, I should emphasize that it's effectiveness for beginners, for children, because they I have mentioned above, they easily get bored, and so that they should learn vocabulary um, by doing something. And another advantage of TPR is that mm, it has a lot of fun and memorable. Mm,
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
My question is about, can you say about the limitations of TPR?
uh, limitation of TPR. Um, TPR is highly effective for children. I have mentioned above uh, because they it's advanced. It's not appropriate for advanced learners because they cannot act like children, and it's limitation of TPR.
Thank you. Thank you.
So our next graduation by IELTS and the same of qualification paper. IELTS is a final form of control of students' knowledge of HEU and methods of preparing for the delivery of IELTS in the reading section. And your scientific advisor, Dr. of Philosophy Engineer Zorniga.
Good afternoon, dear teachers, professors, and our group and my mates. I am Jangabai Vaikusa Ikrahina. If you let me, I will begin my research under the topic IELTS as a final form of control of students' knowledge of HEU and the methods of preparing for the delivery of IELTS in the reading section. It is obvious for all of us now that IELTS testing system has become more common, more popular lately. I want to begin my research topic with its history. IELTS was appeared in 1989, but even the IELTS testing system has been founded several decades ago. Now it has many high band holders, many students who succeeded in taking the IELTS testing system. About IELTS testing system, I want to give brief information. IELTS testing system is founded in order to identify students' English language proficiency in four fields. They are listening, speaking, reading, and also writing. My research topic deals with the reading section. Reading section is evaluated by students. Reading comprehension, understanding the topic, working with texts, There are three passages in IELTS reading section, which comes one by one and gets harder after one another. For example, working with passage one is not like hard or challenging, but when you turn to passage 2 or passage 3, it gets more challenging and makes you overthink. In order to avoid any mistakes or anxiety, students have to work with, have to practice. They have to face. They have to face effective preparation for passing that test. While doing reading section, students are expected to use many ways that ease the process of comprehension of the topic. They are skimming, scanning, or fully detailed reading. Skimming is important to get full meaning. While scanning, we try to locate specific points, names or datas, etc. Detailed reading, on the other hand, require us to get fully comprehension of the text. So, English language proficiency, I mean trying to get a high band on reading section is not such challenging task if you get effective preparation beforehand, because while practicing you get familiarized with the topic, you get familiar questionnaires or tasks like matching headlines, true, false, not given, yes, no, not given, or gut feeling. These tasks are followed after each reading passage. So,
That's all. So, up to date on the materials. Okay, I went through all your qualification on the paper, so I will read them. Thank you very much. I also all requirements of writing this qualification papers. My question is, you use it in your work about the case studies, yes?
yes.
How do you think, is it important to use case studies?
Case study. It's an interesting question. Case study is important for why it is important for ones, why it is not for others. Because if students want to practice and get self-prepared for the test, it is important because case study makes the students know critical thinking, analysis, also synthesis of the work.
Do you have your own certificate?
Unfortunately, now I don't have a certificate, but I am planning to register my test on July.
In July.
In July.
Thank you.
So our next graduate is Shilpa Rashwara, and the same qualification paper is techniques for teaching listening and developing students' listening comprehension, and the scientific advisor is Professor Mohammed Yusuf.
After
Good afternoon, dear professors and teachers. Welcome to our today's Defense Day. I am Shilpa Rashwara from the group 408, and here you can see my research topic is techniques for teaching listening and developing students' listening comprehension. Well, before moving to the main part of my research, I'll tell you about one of the degrees of our president. Our president, Recep Rahman Masyayev, have adopted a decree about enhancing the measurements of teaching foreign languages. And this decree has guided us to use elements of CFR, namely Common European Framework of Reference. And because this framework is conceptualization of communication competence, and it has different main integrated skills, listening, reading, and writing, speaking. And this helps to develop the learners' both skills, as well as one more degree on measures to the development of system of higher education system, and this one is also is the most important one, because by this degree our teachers, our educational institutions have a partnership with leading foreign countries, establishments, and using a wide range of modern pedagogical technologies and materials also. Well, the purpose of my research is this qualification paper mainly discusses how to teach listening with techniques and basic strategies for listening comprehension. And as for the general aims of the work, the first one, analyzing different types of listening strategies. And the second aim is defining the general benefits of teaching listening techniques. And the next one, defining the peculiarities of several listening skills. And the last one, explaining the development of methodology in teaching listening techniques. Well, the structure, here you can see the content of my research. The structure of the work, this given qualification paper has introduction and 3 chapters. The first one is dedicated to developing listening comprehension, and second is an explanation of several techniques and basic strategies for teaching listening. The last one is for practical part, based on my topic. Okay, listening. Listening is a receptive skill that is the most important skill in teaching foreign languages. And this skill is considered as most important because we cannot communicate with each other without listening to the speaker's utterances and understanding them. However, listening is also challenging and hard skill. That's why this skill requires a lot of tactics, approaches, and techniques.
And that's why now it's time to the strategies for teaching listening. Here, two main strategy, top-down and bottom-up. It is the most popular ones. As for the top-down strategy, strategy is focused on the main idea of listening tasks. But bottom-up strategy is opposite the former one, because in the bottom-up strategy we pay attention to every detail of the listening task. For example, sounds can make words, sounds can make words, and then also grammar type is also considered as the most important segment of this strategy.
So,
Well,
so-
and
Why did you use only listening, choose only listening? Because if it's impossible to divide listening from speaking, why? What was the reason?
why I chose this topic?
Why did you choose listening only without speaking for your investigation?
Well, listening, as I have mentioned above, is the most challenging and hard skill compared to other one. But the main reason is that I have a difficulty with this skill. That's why I wanted to research this on this topic in order to overcome my difficulties on this skill with the help of different technical strategies and also
Is it possible to divide them?
listening and speaking. Maybe because we can learn every skill only once we can learn one by one in order to reach our level.
Did you have classes of listening separately, or you had classes listening and speaking
Yes, yes,
together?
listening and LS.
Uh-huh. Thank you.
Because like
okay. Share your work is use it on the computer is all and using the techniques with teaching listening. What kind of peculiarities do you identify?
well, I have come across different techniques in my research paper. They are paraphrasing and translating, answering questions, filling in blanks, listen and think, and as I have mentioned, the top-down and bottom-up strategies. All of them are correlated with each other. Because, for example, in paraphrasing and translating, the teacher may give one text to the students, and then they should rewrite the text with their own words. And summarizing, it is the next technique.
So our next category is Turamada Yulu, and the same is the role of intercultural communicator competence in teaching foreign languages. And your science advisor is Dr. Oswald Wilson, Sejwa Damiru Kaduna.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Turamada Yulu. Let me present my topic and the role of intercultural communicator competence in teaching foreign languages. So, as one of the most popular works in 20th century, 20th century communication has great influence in the language teaching roles. This is not only because of its high frequency, but also because of its essential meaning that represent globalization Today, the importance of intercultural communicative competence is increasing in connection with the need for inter-ethnic contact and partnership in scientific and industrial spheres. Moreover, the wide use of English language creates the need for training specialists who have special vocabulary in English and specialists who are able to work professionally oriented practice and documentation and specialists who can maintain oral communication while communicating in the right language. So the novelty of our qualification work is that it is a modern model of formating students' communicative skills and high potential of teaching. And as for the object of this qualification work, it is the process of teaching and learning English. And the subject of this qualification work is the methodological process of teaching intercultural communicative competence in English. And the hypothesis of this qualification work is that if we teach communication and develop intercultural communicative competence, it will contribute to rising teaching effectiveness in educational establishments. When it comes to speaking about the aim of this qualification work, it is to consider the effective ways to develop intercultural communicative competence of teacher specialists in every field, and to study basic principles of communicative language teaching, and to review main techniques of developing communicative competence.
Please move to the second chapter.
Okay. The second chapter deals with basically the communicative activities, types of communicative activities, their arrangement and techniques of communicative competence. There are three general types of communicative activities. They are informal learning groups, formal learning groups, and study teams. The first one is informal learning groups. It is temporary learning group. It is temporary and clustering of the students within a single class. It can be organized by the teachers at any time, any size of the group, and students can develop their communicative competence. And the second one is formal learning groups. It is established to complete a specific task, and usually in this formal learning group, students complete the task together until it is finished fully, and the complete task is graded by the teachers. And the third one is study teams. Study teams is long-term groups in which requires the responsibility of the members to provide the other members of the group with support, encouragement, motivation, assistance in completing the task, assignments, requirements, ordered by the teacher. And
Thank you. Questions?
I have two questions. First, can you give the definition to the word competence? And the second, how can we develop intercultural competence of learners?
competence is the ability, competence is the ability of doing something. As for the ways to develop students cultural communicative competence, while teaching them, we can organize several activities. In the research work, there are given a lot of types of games in order to develop, like for example, role plays, discussions, simulations, manual activity, um, information gap, like spotting the difference in the pictures, exchanging personal information, completing a picture or completing a story based on flashcards.
But what should these activities be about?
What should be about? It could be about the
For intercultural competence.
could be about cultures, it could be about the traditions of that culture, um, customs.
Well, it's the problem.
I have seen.
You do? Yeah, I don't see well.
So next embroidery is with Jambarba Umra, and the same is the mark of intelligence and strategy in learning English, and her scientific advisor is Doctor of Philosophy, Docency for the Mutabarba.
Do you have C1?
I was
IELTS? 7.
I was
Seven.
7.
7. Please explain us how you got this certificate. Explain your group names.
Last summer, in July, I took this certificate, and I wanted to mention that I only prepared for 4 months to get this certificate. At first, my level is 5.5, but in 4 months, I practiced a lot of times, and my tutor gave his strategies to
Who was your tutor?
my tutor is Murat.
What?
Murat Aga.
Teacher.
Yeah, my teacher. Murat gave his tips and I successfully passed.
C1 olsa автоматически определяется. Просто кем же нужно
Thank you.
So next word is Maramik Muhammad. And the same is the effectiveness of using role plays to promote oral fluency, and his scientific advisor is Dr. of Philosophy, Dr. Seyfullah Gülşen.
Good afternoon, dear teachers and students. My name is Mehmet Muhammad. My topic is related to the effectiveness of using role plays to promote oral fluency. Let me start my research. Today we can see cardinal things in our life. The problem of creating the of education, the role of the science in the specialist training system have been reviewed as the main factor of education. As our president says, it's necessary to raise the quality of general secondary education to a new stage. At the same time, based on what skills a student will receive in each class. It's necessary to create and publish textbooks on the basis of the most modern techniques and strengths such areas as technology fundamentals of engineering, mathematics, art, foreign languages in school. They equip subject laboratories. As actuality of the research. Speaking, especially listening and speaking, are crucial skills in development of English language speech. These two skills are also conventions for the correct use of in teaching process in cooperation with writing and reading. While using interactive and effective ways of teaching can help learners develop their speaking skills and reading skills. The problem of using new pedagogical technologies is one of the topical problems of nowadays language methodology. Thus, comprehensive analysis of advantage of using speaking activities in developing basic skills is of great importance. Next, the knowledge of the research in preparing and completing the given research
Go
paper.
to the first chapter, please. Chapter number 1.
Practical value of the research, the outcomes of the given
Chapter
publication.
number 1, please. First chapter.
The structure of the qualification paper. The given qualifications paper consists of introduction part, where the aim, topicality, knowledge, and other features of the research is given. The main part, 2 chapters. The first chapter is dedicated to the analysis of literature concerned with speaking skills, and the second chapter is on the definition of the role plays in teaching language. Good knowledge of language is usually checked by one's ability to communicate. In teaching methods, speaking has been regarded as a primary skill to be acquired by the learners. There are 2 main approaches to the teaching of speaking. In one of them, pattern practice isn't abandoned, but reformed in that it's made meaningful. And students are aware of the connection of the practice structure and grammatical role of governing its use. During my pedagogical practice, I use it role plays in the purpose of increasing pupils' oral fluency. Like mentioned above, I edited my lessons as a group work and saw the results. I understand that teaching through the role plays develops students' communicative abilities and makes the learning process more effective. The aim of the research, the given publication aims to investigate speaking skills of learners through the plays in teaching process.
How can we organize classroom interactions?
Sorry, can you repeat?
How can we organize classroom interactions?
We can also organize classroom interactions with pupils and
In what ways? Not with whom, but in what ways?
by doing a lot of activities. For example, I mentioned about oral activities. By this way, by oral activities, they lose the speechless in front of class, in front of a lot of people and audience. Thank you.
Ambassador Burgess, Ismail, seeing is the influence of cross-cultural discussion for ESL learners, and his scientific advisory for specific development program.
Good afternoon, teachers and students. My name is Ismail Israel. So let me start the students' work. I'll start. My topic is about the importance of the cross-cultural understanding for ESL learners, and this topic is so is so topical, one of the more topical and one of the interesting subject for language learning. Well, um, you know, for ESL learners, it's increasingly important to have a strong understanding of understanding have a strong understanding of different cultures and this can help them to communicate with each other effectively plus build their relationships and the importance of the present present paper is to investigate some cross-cultural ways of communication and discuss some specific approaches. Uh, uh, discuss some specific approaches of teaching English language. And next page, you can see some benefits of cross-cultural understanding. For example, there are um, improved communication and relationships and greater adaptability and flexibility in new situations and increase cultural awareness and sensitivity. Uh, in the next page, in the first page, you can see some strategies for building cross-cultural strategies for uh, ESL learners. In this way, you can learn about different cultures through books, videos, and other media. And you can also build relationships with people who is from another culture, from another different culture, and asking them to learn some their experiences. In the in the next page, you can see some applications of cross-cultural understanding. Cross-cultural understanding, and there are some practical applications. For example, navigating cultures difference in workplace or in a classroom, successfully communicating with people from another country, in other cultures, and from different backgrounds, and build rapport and trust with people from different cultures. And on a practical note, culture teaching should allow learners to increase um, their knowledge of target culture in terms people's way of life, values, attitudes, and beliefs. Uh, as for conclusion, there are the importance of cross-cultural understanding for ESL learners and encourage them.
In your work, you use it on a questionnaire. Where have you taken this information from? Have you done any experiment at schools or experiment? Have you made an experiment? You have to use it in your work. It's a statistic information questionnaire. Where have you taken this information from?
Especially websites. Sometimes, sorry. It does.
Can you give some examples of cross-cultural understanding in say questions.
Same relations. For example, in our country, in the metropolitan underground, the youngs uh, give their seats for all the people in the Europe, especially in England. The young people doesn't do it.
Different cultures. Thank you.
So our next graduate, our name is Elizabeth, and the same of this qualification paper, communicated competence in teaching grammar and the scientific advising for Gaston Oda.
Good afternoon, dear teachers and students. I am Valerian Elizabeth. Let me start my research. My topic is the multiple intelligence and as studied strategy in learning English. The purpose of this research is to consider the role of communicative competence in the 21st century and in same is develop the model of training future teachers of English to the formation of communicative competence. Knowledge of a foreign language is determined by certain level of communicative competence for solving social and communicative aspects in various spheres of life, further simplification. Communicative competence involves the ability to use linguistics means the knowledge of mechanisms of their functioning in real speech construct in the process of foreign language communication. Language competence means potential linguistic knowledge of a person, a set of rules, analysis, and synthesis of language use. Speech competence involves abstract knowledge about the means of interpretation of speech, portrait of communication, of communicants, techniques of organization of oral and written speech. The basic aim and the purpose of our investigation is to offer some insight into the productive impact of ways of choosing materials for speaking skills teaching. Skills teaching. The object of the research is teaching communicative grammar by means of units, especially items.
As you. Okay, as did. I don't want question. Can we improve learners' skills by using grammar in teaching process?
Yes.
Yes, please. Prove it. How can we improve learners' skills by using grammar? The qualification says it's based on teaching grammar, so that I'm asking this question. Okay, next. Questions, please.
Who is your scientific advisor? As we can see, figure. Le jour avant.
So let's graduate Ahmed by the saying of conversation paper focusing on authentic speech and dramatic language in English classes, and your science paper is Doctor of Philosophy by Vivian Azamat and
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad to see all of you here. My topic is about focusing on authentic speech and idiomatic language in English classes. And firstly, I want to mention some languages which are fluent in our country. That's, for example, in 20 and 21, the president of our country applies some documents, and in this document, especially focuses on the improving foreign languages in English classes. And first, then I want to give some information about my content. My work consists of introduction to chapters, conclusion, and bibliography. In introduction part, I put some words about the general information about idioms, the subject and object of this work. And next, in the chapter 1, I try to put the general information about authentic speech and idioms. In the second chapter, I put more emphasis on the teaching in English classes, how to use idioms or authentic speech in English classes, and some methods and some activities which should be in English classes and in the classes in English classes. Then next, we know that idioms are words that shouldn't be or mustn't be changed. And then the word idiom actually comes from French word idiome and Greek word idioma masco, and it means that there's an expression that cannot be changed, or the order of the words cannot be changed, but the meaning that will be clear from the text. And how can we identify idioms? We can say that idioms can be identified more in context. When we saw the words, when we saw the first word, we cannot know the meaning of this word, but in context we can identify what means this idiom. What means this idiom? And then there are many types of idioms. For example, Gazawa mentioned some idiom, classifies some idioms. For example, the first one is full or pure idioms, semi-idioms, verbs, sayings, phrasal words, and metaphorical phrases. That's so. And then next, firstly the subject of this work is mostly focused on the idioms in English and Greek languages, and also teaching authentic speech and idioms in English classes. So some users to use in English classes. Then in chapter 2, for example, in chapter 2, we have. I want to mention some idioms For example, the black sheep.
There are two types of idioms that are nominal idioms and verbal idioms. In nominal idioms, we mostly use the nouns, and in verbal idioms, the word, the structure of words more consists of verbs. I want to give example for nominal idioms. For example, in nominal idioms, black sheep means shame of the family. Shame of the family. That one of the members of the family in this family. That is the example for nominal idioms, and in verbal idioms that take risks. The equivalence of these idioms will be if not in Uzbek language, and in English language there are 65% of the words more nominal idioms, and other percentage will be verbal idioms.
Please give us examples for these idioms.
For example, I have mentioned nominal and verbal idioms. Black sheep means shame of the family, dog get up in Uzbek language, and verbal, for example, to take risks. Get up in Uzbek language will be, and then I have also other examples. For example, to pull oneself together. To pull oneself together is özünü koydu almak. It means stop crying or being panic. And then the equivalence, also these idioms have equivalence in English language, because take oneself in half, the two idioms will be equivalent. And I have also another examples. Custom in second nature. It means in Uzbek language, kuş uyardan man kosa, uçkanda şunu kıladı. The next one is to throw dust in somebody's eyes. Gözgel çok sonra. To be in seventh heaven means boşa osmaga gitmek. And then that's the example.
So what do authentic materials consist of?
What can you repeat?
What do authentic materials include?
Yeah. Authentic materials are that materials that's the visual aids, the visual documents of some sheets that help in teaching process.
Any visual
Materials.
they may be also text, huh?
Yeah,
About the
texts,
literacy, events, huh?
documents, papers.
So next we're going is Ahmed Rafasyan, and the same of the process with an electronic from books of the words in the English sentence, and your scientific advisor is Dr. Otos.
Good afternoon, dear
So,
teacher.
That's included.
I hear you. Yeah.
diploma.
Sure.
So,
Yes.
Good afternoon, dear teacher, professors, and students. Now I'm going to give you a brief information. I'm going to give you brief information on my qualification thesis on the theme analytical and synthetical modes of words in the English sentence. So, first of all, I'm going to explain you a brief understanding on mood. Mood is a grammatical category which expresses attitude of speakers to the real state or condition. So in the model English verbs, there are following types: the direct modus and oblique modus. Direct modus include indicative mode and imperative mode. As for the oblique modus include subjunctive one and subjunctive two. Also, there are subjunctive one and subjunctive two. Okay, uh, let's let's let's let's say about indicative mood. What is indicative mood? Indicative mood expresses or defines it is a real statement or fact. It can be either in present or future or past tenses. Also, indicative mood gives us real statement or situation or condition. Also, another type of direct mode, it is imperative mode. As it is clear from its name, imperative mode gives us the understanding of request or command. For example, come here. It is a simple example of imperative mode, and we can give some example, some types of oblique modus. Oblique modus include subjunctive one, subjunctive two, and suppositional modus and conditional modus. Subjunctive one, when we hear the subjunctive one, it means be, he be, or he have, he were, he have. For example, Mr. Clark said that he be here right now. There, he be is example of subjunctive one, and subjunctive two, especially expresses unrelative. For example, I wish he were here, and it means desirability. Also, there are types of word forms in the subjunctive: the synthetic forms and the analytical forms. The synthetic forms include subjunctive one and subjunctive two, and analytical forms include suppositional mood and conditional mood. As we know, analytical modus, suppositional mode means especially refers to the supposition. For example, guessing. It means certainty, close to certainty. For example, we think he comes here on time. It is close to certainty. And conditional mode. We know there are four types of conditionals. Type 0, type 1, type 2, and type 3. Especially conditional mode refers to the unrelative. It expresses mostly our desire, our emotion, but it has already been accurate. Now we want the situation to change. it's a type. Also, it has several meanings um, desire. For example, advice. Also, it's a type. We can use conditional mood.
Where are you from? Where are you from?
From the meaning.
Yeah. What's the aim of your paper? Aim of the work?
Our graduation paper's main aim is to identify what is mood and to differentiate types of moods. For example, in my paper there are types of moods in English, and also they are very confusing. And in my by reading or researching this topic, you can identify, recognize the differences between them, special types, differences between them.
What about the tasks? Tasks of your paper?
To master this grammatical topic. Sorry,
You told about the aim of the paper. And now will you please give us in detail about the tasks of the paper?
In order to research this topic, we first of all we should realize what mood is. It is about our one person's mood or another thing. When we in the first time we see this topic, we can think it is just the mood of one person. So
What is the translation of the mood?
if we refer to people, it means Uzbek kayfiyat. But in grammatical point of view, okay.
Okay?
Yes. Imperative, for example, there is a imperative mood. Buyuruk ahamiga. Imperative.
Kızılık bilmezsiniz. Nispet bilmezsiniz istiyor musunuz? Nispet. İyi gelin nispet.
Uzbek
Maçkul
nisbat,
nisbat.
maçkul nisbat.
Özlük nispet. Anıklık nispet. Bilgelik nispet. Ana şu derse maçkullik nispet var. Hazır icet niyeti tutsanız. Örgen tutsanız. Hayatın keyfiyeti, hayatın afayı. Başka zaman var mı?
So, our next activity is Rajab Online and go for class. Role of English writers as a source of educational progress and for scientific advisories. Docent Bismarck
Good afternoon, dear teachers, professors, and dear students. I'm going to tell about the expertise about prose as a source of adjectives in comparative studies. Prose. What is prose? Prose is a form of written or spoken language that follows the natural flow of speech, uses a language's ordinary grammatical structure, or follows conversation or formal or academic writing. The word prose appears the first time in English in the 4th century. Latin, from Latin expression, prosa radio, literally straightforward or direct speech. And What's the difference between prose and poetry? Prose can use of writing. In prose, we use sentence and paragraphs sound similar to ordinary speech or writing, may or may not be creative. In poetry, uses lines and stanzas, sound special or more artistic than normal speech. Has a main artistic purpose to share something personal. Types of prose. It includes fiction, non-fiction, mystery, metafiction. Fiction, it's partly or totally imaginatively conceived. However, authors can also choose to include factual information in a made-up story. It is often referred to as narrative prose, which tells a story. Its different types include historical fiction. The story takes the reader back to a particular time period where they learn about the everyday life of a person or group of persons. The character, but usually the main character, is not based on a real person. Non-fiction, this can also be called informational material. It provides information that is factual, nothing is made believe in this type of material. It has some practical utility. More specific examples of this genre would be biography, autobiography. A biography is a true account of a person's life written, concluded or produced by others. Autobiography, the biography of a person written by that person. Mystery, there are different types of mystery stories, but usually a crime has been committed and the reader wants to try to figure out handle. There is usually a great deal of suspense and intrigue abounds. Metafiction itself consciously and systematically draws attention to itself as an artifact in order to pose questions about the relationship between fiction and reality. Reality fiction, the story usually presents a problem that examines.
Okay. Thank you. Jadwal. What is the aim of your research work?
My research aim how to use prose in literature and learn about and analyze prose and prose types and adjectives used in prose.
What is the difference between prose and poetry?
In prose we use sentence and paragraphs. Poetry we use lines and stanzas.
Thank you.
I did Israel. You want to comment?